don't you just love it when my presentation title changes last minute and I have something different on the first slide? Um, it is.
Wow, that's wily. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, well, it does every time. So, but it's more to the point now because originally it was described as something for Silverlight, targeting Silverlight, but we're going to change that a little bit, and we're going to do it in WPF and then port it over to Silverlight. So we're going to have the best of both worlds, so to say. So the coverage, the agenda pretty much stays the same content. So we're going to start a WPF application, and we'll do this in, we'll set up the ribbon UI in WPF. We'll set up a dockable layout with, doc panels and document panels, and we're going to use the DXDocking library for that. So we're going to keep building on the WPF application, and we're going to port that to Silverlight. Now you might say, all right, so this might be something, pretty easy, pretty straightforward. So why are we doing this? The reason for this is because unless you're a ZAML ninja, so to say, and you understand ZAML and you know it, inside out, and pretty much you do all your development in ZAML manually, you are going to have a somewhat big learning curve to understand how to use the ribbon specifically, and how what paradigm it's built on and how to implement it. So this will be a good starting point to see how to implement such a UI. It's going to we're gonna just scratch the surface. It's nothing. We're not gonna go too deep into the technicals of it, but it'll be a nice way to see how to just use the designer mostly to create such a UI. And then at the end, as always, we'll have the questions. So again, just to I have a couple more slides, but before that, just to give you a quick idea of why we're doing this presentation. See, like this is the demo from our demo center, the Ribbon UI demo, and you see something like this. It's cool. It's an excellent demo. And all right, so how was this done? Now again, you're pretty good with XAML, so you look at the XAML code, and if it's easy to understand what was implemented here. But normally, you probably don't want to sit here and type all of this out, and that sort of defeats the purpose of having a designer. So in this case, that's what we do. We provide a design time way of implementing this, and it's not quite obvious at first glance. So I'm going to go through and explain how this would be done. So the ribbon control. The ribbon control has a relationship with the bar manager. So we have the bar manager and the ribbon control, and they essentially, like any other relationship, they are dependent on each other. So one has to provide some items that the other one will use. So how does this work? We have the bar manager, and we populate it with some bar items. Now, bar items can be essentially any editors that we provide, and that are, of course, designed to work with any one of our toolbars. So now this can be the regular ribbon bar, or it can be the standard toolbar or menu system. So they're reusable. So then we implement the ribbon and create item links to access each bar item. And of course, all of these again remain reusable throughout the application. So if you have other menu items somewhere else and you need to use the same command, say it's an exit command or it's an open, new, or save command, you can keep using the same events, the same event handlers, the same icons, and the same text, of course. So that sort of cuts your work down. So that's pretty much it. I am done with slides. Guess that's good news. So we can go to see what we're going to do today. So this is the final application that we're going to work towards. This is the WPF version, and let me just quickly run it to see the theme that I've applied, the Office 2007 black theme that I've applied. So you can see that in action, and it's on my second monitor. There it is. So it's a standard dockable layout. We have a nav bar in a panel here, and we're actually using the DevExpress layout control for this part inside the DX docking. So this is just to demonstrate that you can use different types of content. And then we have the ribbon bar up here and the gallery and the quick access toolbar up there. So let's go ahead and start a new Visual Studio project. Let me bring this over here and start from scratch, just so you see that there's nothing hidden, there's nothing too complicated about setting up the initial application for the ribbon. So it's a new project, and we'll start Windows, WPF application, and let's be a little creative and call this WPF Ribbon webinar. Sounds good enough. And let's wait for the application to create the structure here, populate the appropriate files. And here we are. Excellent. All right, so before going any further, just so I don't go back and forth, I'm going to copy some images and icons that I have prepared from the current project folder to this new project, so I don't have to revisit this later on when I need it. So let's go ahead and copy that there. And let's make sure it's included in the project so it's accessible later. Just wait a few seconds for that. It's being added one by one with their attributes, so there it is. Should be all there. Excellent. All right, so go to the toolbox and let's resize this just a bit. Let's wait for it to populate. Excellent. Go. All right, so to start, I need, remember I said it's dependent on the bar manager, so the host control in this whole application needs to be the bar manager. So I'll put the bar manager on here, and there it is. Let's make sure it's fills the entire area. Now, to position the ribbon control as well as the dock layout manager, what I'm going to do is just for ease of use, I'm going to quickly use a dock panel here just to keep the layout simple, fill the area, and then I'll go ahead and add a ribbon control. All right, let's dock this control to the top. Let's reset the layout, and let's add a status bar control as well to mimic the layout of an actual application, although we won't be using the status bar in today's demo. So now we have the basic, we have the bar manager, we have the ribbon on top of the bar manager, right? And then we have this area where we can implement the DXDocking control. So here it is. All right, excellent. Sure. Okay, cool. So let me close this so we have more room. All right, so to get started, I need to create some bar items. So I'll hit escape to go back and select the bar manager, and I will go down here to items, and this is the list of bar items that I can create. You can see, these are essentially editor items. I can have different types of these items, but I'll stick to bar button item for the ribbon bar, as most of them will be buttons in this demo. So let's add, how many do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bar button items in total. And you'll see throughout the demo how they're used. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so let's make this alphabetical. Comfortable with categorized. And let's start setting it to large glyphs, as it'll be the icons that you saw here. So this is the clip art. We'll use this for the gallery later on. The images. So let's do one for a new button. Let's make this, let's give it the contents, say new. That'll be the text that appears right below it. Let's make one for open, just standard commands that you usually see on applications, mimicking the standard Microsoft Word style. New, open, and we have save. There's save. Let's give it the content again. Save. Print. Let's do print as well. Print. Large glyph. Select the print icon. And just a few more. We'll do one for paste. Pasting from the clipboard. We won't be wiring these up during the demo to actual events. This is just to mimic the layout of an application. We'll have copy. Large glyph. We have copy. And we have paste. No, we have paste. We have cut. So let's do cut. Content. Alright, so this pretty much covered the first view. Now these two we're going to use for the quick access toolbar up here. So for this I am going to, well, let's call this one undo, so we won't be seeing the text as it's up there. And I'll use the standard small glyph property. So it would be this one. And let's do one for redo. Just two common controls that you usually see up there on applications. Content, redo. Alright, excellent. Alright, so we have the bar items. Now if we take a look at the XAML, you'll see that all of this has been created here. Alright, now in order to access this from the ribbon control, we need to name them properly. So let me bring up the document outline, and you can see that it's also populated here. These are all the button items. So from, I'm going to start naming them one by one. So this would be a bar item for new. See, it updates it over here. This would be a bar item for open, the open command. This would be a bar item for save. And this one would be the, which one is this? This one's print. And let's keep going. After print, we have paste. Right. And then we have copy. Cut. And then finally, the last of the quick access toolbar ones, be undo and be redo is what I'm going to call them. So undo and redo. Excellent. Okay, so let's go back, select the ribbon, and see how we can add these to the ribbon control. Alright, so items, default page category, we'll leave that as is, and we'll go to the pages collection. So now here I can specify how many pages I'm going to have up here. So by default I have this first one, ribbon page, it's called home, and I can work with this for now. I don't need anything else at the moment. Or actually, let me go ahead and add the view page as well. I'll be using this later for the gallery, but let's add this. You see it up there. Let's go back to the home ribbon page, and there's the groups collection. So let's bring up this collection editor again. I can add a ribbon page group. So let's add one. You can see it over there. Let's add the second one like we had in our original demo. So let's select the first one and call this, what was it called? It was called comment. And the second one was called clipboard, as you would expect from the commands. So the first one. Now, if you remember from the slide, the ribbon needs to link to the bar items that I have just created. So I have the ribbon page group, and here in this collection editor, I can specify the item links. Right. So bar button item link is what I will select, and what I will do is I'll go ahead and add, how many did I need? 7 I said earlier. Yeah, let's go add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so the first one would be bar item name. This was, again, we're repeating this. This would be new, right? This would be open. This one would be save. This one would be print. And actually, the other three we're going to go in the next next group. So I'm going to apply this. You see them show up there. I'm going to apply this and go select the second group, which will contain the clipboard items. So let's add those three. And item name, this will be paste. It's probably not in the right order, but doesn't matter. We cut. All right, excellent. So we have these page groups and the ribbon configured. Let's quickly rebuild this. And there it is. So these are all the items that we just added. So these are being shared. These are being linked to from, see if we open it up here, you'll see these are the bar button item links that are linking to these bar button items that we created earlier. All right, so the quick access toolbar, that one is accessed differently. How is that accessed differently? Well, let's bring up a separate collection which is used for that. So it's the toolbar item links collection. The toolbar item links collection, let's bring that up. And again, add the two bar button item links, which I'll need. See the size changed up there. And the first one was the undo, right? And the second one was button redo. Okay, so those are added up here. Now, let's go ahead and run this real quick to show the progress that we've made as the application. Now you see the theme. I haven't applied the theme that I was using in the final app yet, but here are the items, the groups, and the quick access toolbar. I can, of course, this feature is built in. I can put it underneath the ribbon bar or right above it. All right, and here's the default dock panel layout that we had. So let's finish the ribbon before we move over to the docking layout down here. So let's go ahead and add a gallery. So this is this part I'll do in ZAML. And what I need to do is I'll need to add the ribbon gallery bar item to my bar items. So what I'll do is, to save time, I'll go ahead and copy and paste the code from the previous project. And you can see I had a very unintuitive name earlier in my other project, WPF Application 4. I'm sure everybody's used to those when you're creating demos. So here it is. So I have the gallery, and you can see there's a property that I've set. It's the minimum column count. This is to basically specify how many columns at least I need displayed in the gallery. If I don't, it's 1, and you get one long gallery drop down with whatever number of rows that are required. So let's go back to design view, and let's go ahead and add this to the ribbon. So let's go back to the items collection, and items collection, and let's add the select this, go to pages, go to the second page, the view page which we created for it, go to groups, and create a new group for this, and we'll call this, let's call it a gallery. Okay. Go to the item links and add the ribbon gallery bar item link to to link to the ribbon gallery bar item which we created earlier. Right, so we only have one of that, and the name was gallery. Very cool. So this is done over here. Let's run this again and see the gallery. Here it is. View, and here's the Office gallery that's embedded inside the View ribbon page. So the ribbon control's pretty much set up with all that we need. Now let's move over to the dock layout, the DXDocking control down here. The DXDocking control. Alright, so when I select this, you'll notice, let me close this, see there's a little helper here, in design time, so I can, when I select the panel, it shows up here, and I can work with the panels, and, I can actually move this around at design time, reorder it, resize it, and whatnot. So let's, let me bring up my other application so I can try to mimic the layout as best as I can. So I'll leave the panel here. I'll leave this panel here. Now let's create a document panel. So let's add this, add it at the top, and I'll reposition it like so. Don't move. There. Alright, so the next one would be 2 more layout panels. Right, so let's just arbitrarily add these to the top, to the bottom, and it didn't pick it. Let's see, new layout panel. It's to the bottom. Okay, let's add another one to the bottom. Excellent. Alright, so let's add this to the create a tab group and bring it. I am constantly moving the control here. Should not be doing that. Alright, I hope it's still in place, and looks like it is. Let's put it down there and resize these 2 panels. Excellent. Okay, so let's call this first panel, let's select it and call it, I'm going to put an editor on there, so let's go ahead and call this an editor panel. Alright, simple enough. Let's bring the toolbox, go to the DevExpress common controls, and just drop a text edit on there. There it is. Okay. So there's the text editor, and for this second panel, what I had promised earlier, I'm going to use the layout control. Now, this is just to show that you can use different controls in the dock layout panel. So it's not strictly limited to any certain type of control that we list on our website or anything. So let's add the layout control on here, and I'm going to use that to create, add some editors and create some sort of a data entry for. So let's add let me bring this up so it stays up. So 2 text edits, and I also had, I believe, a date editor. Right. So let's position this. See, the layout control maintains its design time customization functionality while I'm doing all of this. So, and then I had a pop-up color editor, which comes down here. And then I had a calculator, pop-up calculator. I have that as well, a spin editor, and that should wrap this up. Then I'll add another layout group down here, and I'll set it to stretch. Add some items in here. Have a little malfunction here. All right, let's leave that out. But here's the layout group. Okay, so the second panel, I had a nav bar in that. So let's go ahead and let's find the second panel. Here it is, And let's create an end tag for it. Excellent. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and copy paste the code from the other application, so I don't spend too much time on that. There is the navbar control. And of course, I do not have the proper references, so let's go ahead and add a navbar to create the references, and we should be set. And then I have my unintuitive project name again here, WPF application 4. Let's quickly rename these. There, I did it faster than replace all command probably. So this is all set up. Let's go ahead and run this one more time to see it as it stands right now. Application loading, it keeps jumping to my second monitor. Here it is. So there's the navbar, there's the ribbon, and there's the gallery. So, of course, all of these features are there. I can move them around, the panels. I can take it out, have it be floating. Now, one thing that you'll notice is, see, these are still strictly limited to the bounds of the window here. The way I can, our docking component actually supports multiple monitors. So you can have an application where you can undock this and drag it to a second monitor. So the way to enable this would be there's a property which I'll show you, but I'll disable so we can port this application to Silverlight after that. So the dock layer manager is selected right now, and then there's the floating mode property down here. Right now it's set to Windows, so everything is limited by the bounds of the window of my application. I can set this to desktop, and if I run this one more time, you'll see that I can undock something and take it out of the outside the application window, as well as onto a second monitor. So here it is. I can have this out here, have this out there, and just use this as my application, right? And then I can always bring it back in and dock it anywhere I like. So this is the WPF part of it. Oh, let me go ahead and add the theme as well, the theming, so we can wrap this up and then move over to the Silverlight version. So for theming, I'll need to add a few references here, and I'll do this the quick and dirty way so I don't spend too much time on the theming, just for looks, to see that the theming also carries over exactly to Silverlight. So I need all these themes assemblies, right? So I'll add these, and as soon as they're added, I'll switch over to code here, and I'll do this quickly in code. I'll do it before initialize component. We'll call a theme manager, and the application theme name I'll set to Office 2007 Black. Alright, there's nothing wrong with the code. I need to add the XPF core using statement up here. And I need to learn how to spell application theme name. There we go. Okay, so run this one last time to see it as a WPF application before we move over to Silverlight. And here it is, the Office 2007 look and feel. So I'll keep this open, I'll minimize this, and I'll start another Visual Studio instance to basically try to copy paste the code into Silverlight with minimal changes and see how we can how easy it is to carry it over to Silverlight with while maintaining our controls. So Silverlight application, that's a bad name, so let's say SL. I forgot what I called the WPF. Some ribbon, something there. Webinar. That's fine. Can leave that as is. And once the project populates and loads, I'll need to go ahead and add the images again. So I'll open this in Windows Explorer once more, and let's bring up the WPF application project folder. We're going to get everything from this project, so no changes are made. So I'll copy this over here, and let's close this. Make sure the images are again part of the project. So let's say images include in project. Again, images being added one by one, and we are done. Let's make sure, yep, they're all there. Okay, so I am not going to actually look at the designer. I'll go to the XAML here. I could do it through the designer, but I want to demonstrate how easy it is to actually just copy and paste it from WPF. Before I do that, let me add the references that I need to so I don't get any errors in my code. So let's add the references, and what I need are all DevExpress references. So DevExpress data. I also need core, docking. We use the layout control, so it'll be the layout core. Well, the docking and then the layout control as well. So the layout control, the nav bar. We also use the ribbon, of course, and the themes. So all the theme assemblies. So here they are being populated one at a time. Now I'm gonna go ahead and cheat a little bit because I personally don't like adding namespace references in XAML. It's just let me bring up the other project so I can copy and paste the XAML references. Here they are. Copy, come over here, and paste. Excellent, that should do it. So let me go back to the WPF application. So here's the XAML. It's still running, so I'll leave it running. Bring the XAML code up. And let's select it from the bar manager all the way down to the bar manager and tag. Let's copy that, go over to the Silverlight application, and let's paste that in here. This happened, where did this happen? This was one of the, oh, that's where I moved the text box earlier. That's what the error was for. Alright, we don't need any of that. Is that what I did? Let's compare the code real quick. Let's troubleshoot the demo. Is the demo gone awry? Let's see, there is a calc editor. Where is my calc editor? Alright, this is all I need, turns out. So I had accidentally moved another editor onto this calc editor, and that's why my layout control crashed earlier. So this should be good. Now, of course, this is not right. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and rename these. I'll actually use the find and replace. So quick replace. It's WPF Ribbon webinar. We need Silverlight Ribbon webinar. Just now. So replace all. That's all replaced. Now you'll notice the dock panel is being underlined here, and that is because in Silverlight that is part of the Silverlight toolkit. So what I will do is I'll add a dock panel to create the reference and see what the toolkit. So you can see that all the work that I'm actually doing is just plumbing that I need to do anyways to create a Silverlight application. We're not really spending any time with any of our products, any of our code. So everything works. All the code is valid. All the markup is valid. So there's no changes that need to be made when working with our products here. So excellent. Everything seems to be okay, and everybody's happy. Let's look at the design. Let me rebuild this real quick to make sure it compiles correctly as well. And rebuild all started. does. There we go. Did. So here it is. Now this is using the default theme for Silverlight, so let's go ahead and change this to the theme, the same theme that we used in the WPF application. So for that, I will go switch over to code and I'll copy and paste the same line for the theme back here for initialized component that there, and add the reference. Excellent. So this is it pretty much. It's ported over to Silverlight, running the application. It's going to open up in a web browser, which is right here. So let's leave this open, and here it is. It's the same look and feel, the same functionality. There's the gallery, there's the ribbon, the quick access toolbar. I can also put that in Silverlight underneath, put it over here, and the status bar. Now let me bring up the WPF application as well, and there you go. You can see it's the exact same theme and the exact same functionality and features that carried over. Now, one other thing that I didn't incorporate into this demo, and it's a new feature that came up with 10.2. I was going to use the demo center to quickly talk about that. Is the Workspace Manager. Now, the Workspace Manager is a component that allows you to create a docking layout, a dockable layout using the DXDocking control. And what you can do is you can, let me bring this up so I can talk about it more intelligently as you see them. That would be more useful. Let's carry this over here. Perfect. So what you can do is you can create workspaces, and you can animate changing between the workspaces. So see, here's a layout. We have a layout saved, and we have the different animation, the transition effects. So we can say none, no transition effects, and we can, that's workspace 1, we can change to workspace 2. You can see the complete layout is different, right? A workspace 3, a workspace 4, and we can always, make changes and then capture that into a workspace. You're not just limited to 4. This is what this demo is showing. Or we can change it to a transition effect. Not sure how this is going to broadcast over the webinar, but once I click on a workspace, you'll see there was a ripple effect to change that workspace. Click on it again, see the transition effect. I can also have it, change it, and there's a wave effect as it changes through it. So I can, modify it, resave it, and export that as, as a setup. So if you're creating a business application and you're going to have different users who require different screens and different layouts, this is one way that you could provide a, a set of commonly used layouts that can be used throughout the application. So you don't have to deploy different views per se. And that pretty much concludes the demo today. I will bring up the question slide, and I see there's the question icon blinking. Let me bring up the panel and see what is being asked. It looks like it was answered. Excellent. Well, okay. We shall wait a few more minutes to see if any questions come in. So yeah, feel free to submit any questions you have with regards to this. And in the meantime, Amanda, if you want to do a word from our sponsor, which is us again.
Our sponsor, which is us. Absolutely. Yeah, everyone, get in your questions. Now we certainly have time for them. So ask away. And we have another webinar coming up in an hour and 20 minutes at noon Pacific Standard Time. Steve Lang from Microsoft is back with Visual Studio 2010 testing. In this session, we'll explore the tools that put quality first for the developer: code analysis, metrics, test impact analysis, IntelliTrace, and performance profiling. So again, that's today at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And our final webinar of the week is tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. ASP.NET MVC3 with DevExpress extensions, hosted by ASP.NET evangelist Mahul Hari. Learn about the new DevExpress MVC3 support, including new project templates, and how to work with the new Razor engine. So we have a great lineup of webinars that are currently scheduled through the month of March. You can register online at devexpress.com/webinars.
Excellent. Thank you, Amanda. And yeah, make sure the other webinar is coming up, you said at 12, so that would be in an hour and 20 minutes, 19 minutes to be exact. So, so yeah. Questions? No questions still.
No questions.
Do we have any events coming up, Amanda, that we could announce?
Any events?
Yes.
I mean, the only thing I know that's coming up thus far is end of March into April, which is Dev Connections in Orlando.
Excellent. And I will be at that event. So if you'd like to, if you're attending that event, Dev Connections in Orlando, feel free to stop by our booth. Not feel free, I encourage you to. And talk to all of us.
Live.
What's that?
I said chat live.
Chat live.
We're not chatting live, but see your face in person.
Face to face.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And then I'll also be at Mix. So if you're attending Mix, I will also be present there.
When is Mix, Emil?
Mix is April 12th through 14th, I believe. It might be plus or minus a single day that I got it wrong, but I think it's 12th through 14th in April.
And is that in Vegas or where is it?
This is in Vegas. Mix. And Seth is also going to be, we're also going to be at the Dallas Day of .NET.
Oh, right. And Seth is going to be there, but is he the only one? Oh, there we go. Let's see. We are going to be at Dallas Day of .NET. And he's posting a link that I'll post to everybody here. jointechies.com. Awesome. All right. What do you think, Emil? Do you want to wait a little bit more for questions?
Let's give it a couple minutes. 10:45 is a nice number. 45 is a nice number. So let's wait till 10:45, and if there are no questions, we'll call it a day today.
Okay. Let's see. When is your next webinar?
My next webinar is we're doing the Ask DevExpress
XPF
in March. So that would be March last week or the
22nd.
22nd or 21st, I think. 22nd?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. And then you have another one coming up 2 days later, March 24th, on printing, exporting, theming, serializing the Silverlight grid.
There you go. There you go.
Like
and you
there's a
know,
lot
as long
going
as the title's going to change by the time we get to the first slide.
Yeah, I'll check your title card next time.
No, it should stay pretty much the same. It's the content problem.
You like to keep me on my toes. I get it.
Yeah, sure. All right, well, it's 10:45 for me, and there are no questions. You know, if you think of anything, if anyone has any questions, there's my email address on the screen, and there's my blog. I encourage you to keep an eye out on there because that's where I make XPF announcements and anything regarding Silverlight and WPF. And feel free to shoot me an email if you have a question later on as well.
Awesome.
So,
I just popped your email into the chat window as well.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, Amanda. So
you're welcome.
Wrap it up.
All right. Thank you very much, Emil. So if you want to stick around in about an hour and join us for Microsoft Steve Lang's Visual Studio 2010 testing webinar at noon, please do. And we have a lineup of webinars scheduled through March again, devexpress.com/webinars. Register today. So if you missed anything from this webinar or you want to review any of our previous webinars, you can visit us on the DevExpress channel at tv.devexpress.com. Again, thanks, Emil. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you for choosing DevExpress.